To your point, we mentioned the polling early on. Guys, you're not going to believe this. So Harry Enton is out here with some new polling on CNN where they asked the Republican base. This is after the Epstein scandal. This is after Trump came out like 7 times. I was like, shut up. Don't talk about Epstein. There's nothing to see there. No, I'm definitely not in the files. I definitely didn't touch any prepubescent girls. I don't know what you're talking about. After all that, they asked the MAGA base, hey, how you feeling about Trump? Here's the result.
I mean, look, I think this one surprised me a bit because of all these complaints online going after Trump and the Epstein files. You might think his approval ratings were going down, Republicans. If anything, they're going up. Republicans who approve of Trump, look at our CNN poll. The prior one, 86%. The one out this week, 88% were Republicans. How about Quinnipiac? The prior poll, 87% approve of Republicans. This week out, 90% were Republicans. If anything, Donald Trump's approval rating has gone up since this whole Epstein saga started. He is at the apex, or close there too, in terms of his popularity with Republican voters, Epstein files, complaints, or not.
You just proved that not everything online is real in real life.
Who knew?
Amazing.
Twitter and X are not reality.
Is there any reason that you can find that this hasn't taken hold and hurt him?
Yeah. I mean, on X, all you hear about is the Epstein files. But how about out in the real public? Republicans who said the top issue was Epstein case. The answer is one, and not 1%. One respondent. This is a great little finding that Ariel Edwards-Levy, who of course is part of our polling unit, found. Just one single Republican said that the nation's top problem is in fact the Epstein case. Not much of a surprise that therefore Donald Trump's approval rating has not suffered with Republicans because of the Epstein case. Because the bottom line is most Americans say it's not high up on their priority list.
That is wild, bro. Now, we have been labeled the people who are like the most shrill at pointing out that MAGA is a cult, right? But having said that, even I underestimated just how much of a fucking cult it is, Crystal. Because I thought, oh, he'll lose like two points, maybe 3 points.
I think we actually specified, and weren't we talking? And
we talked about it. I say he'll get down to 36 or 37% favorability overall, which is not his floor. His floor, I said, is between 26 and 33.
Yeah, but didn't we talk about specifically with MAGA? And we're like, he'll probably lose a few points, basically.
Right.
And no.
Nope. It went up. It went up.
Nope,
it went up.
not at all.
It went up. Statistically, you could say statistically maybe it stays the same if you include like every poll on it or whatever, but that's fucking crazy, bro. And so that shows like sometimes online is the real world, and then sometimes it's just not.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just not. Sometimes what people are talking about on there is just not what they're talking about in real life.
Well, and there was this Ukraine poll that came out recently. Did you see this?
No.
Where one version of the poll just said, do you support shipping weapons to Ukraine? And then another version said, Trump supports this. Do you support it? And the Republican support jumped by 34 points when they were told that this is Trump's position.
So basically,
we saw the same thing with Iran. You know,
that's
there was a poll that also showed
94% of MAGA said yes, bomb Iran.
As soon as Trump actually said, actually bombed Iran, suddenly Republicans were all on board. I mean, what do you, like, I don't know what more proof you need. That there is nothing this man can do that is going to shake their support. And it reminds me, I was telling you this before.
Loyalty test.
It feels like a loyalty test.
Right.
It feels very much to me similar. A lot of echoes of back in 2016, Grab Her by the Pussy tape comes out. At that point, in the Republican coalition, the like family values, evangelical types, Mike Pence is on the ticket. They're very influential. And they're locked into this multi-decade view forged under the Clinton administration with their concern about Monica Lewinsky giving him a blowjob, that like morals matter and the presidency, character matters, and we've got to have a moral majority and all of these sorts of things. Like this has been a bedrock core principle of this integral part of the Republican coalition since, you know, I was politically aware. And then in a moment, he's asking them to totally flip on that and be like, no big deal. It's locker room talk. Who cares? And you know what? There were a lot of elite Republicans. You know, it's easy to forget now. There were a lot of elite Republicans who were very concerned. It was a question whether Mike Pence was even going to stay on the ticket. Like it was a whole thing. And ultimately, the base didn't care and got in line. And the elites took the message from that of like, okay, well, I guess this is what we're doing. And you could see the poll. I remember polls being done at the time. Same thing. You asked this question about like, does the moral character of the president matter? And just like that, they flipped, you know, dozens of points in the other direction of like, nah, who cares? Doesn't matter.
Yeah, remember I could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and not lose a single voter. And
apparently, he could traffic a 14-year-old on Fifth Avenue and it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, it really is crazy. The pictures are all over the place with him and Epstein. You got Epstein on tape saying I was Trump's best friend for over a decade, and Trump is desperately trying to cover up these Epstein files because he knows he's in them. And the reaction to that is, let's buy hook, line, and sinker this bullshit that, oh, actually, Obama now wrote the Epstein files.
Right. And here's the thing. Like, I want you to really think about this. Why is he saying that? He is saying that
because when something comes out.
If something comes out.
Not if, when.
If so, I mean, you don't know that things are going to come out.
It's already out.
Saying,
It's already out there.
I know, but in terms of like additional information coming out, we can't predict the future. But he's laying the pretext of like, this is my excuse. And his people will buy it. They will buy
They'll
it.
go, oh,
They'll
now
buy
I see why Trump was trying to bury it.
Epstein hoax, okay, it makes sense. Biden rigged it against him. Megyn Kelly made a comment that I didn't really fully pick up on. Emily actually picked up on this and pointed it out to me. She said in that debate with Ben Shapiro, she was like, you know, I have sources inside the administration who say that the files were set up to point directly to Trump. So that's what they're gonna go with. You know, it was rigged by Joe Biden and Christopher Wray, who, by the way, Trump was the one who put him in, but whatever, it doesn't matter. Nothing matters. It was rigged by them to point at him, and this is all just a hoax. Like, now after seeing that poll, I'm thoroughly convinced that they'll eat it up, they'll buy it, they'll believe it.
Of course,
even though
it's their job.
Yeah, and it's just so crazy, too, because if you just even think about this administration, they had their whole influencer thing with the binder and, oh my God, Epstein file release phase 1. And then next thing you know, Pam Bondi said, oh, I've got the client list. It's on my desk. And it's just taking some time because we're reviewing all of these hours and hours of footage. And then on a dime, turn, nope, case closed, nothing to see there. No incriminating client list. We're all done. And then, oh, well, there is a client list, but it was rigged by Obama and Comey and Brennan and Crooked Hillary or whoever he listed.
Because Trump had made the Epstein files sort of Democrat coded. The day that Epstein died, Trump retweeted something about how, like, Bill Clinton was probably involved in this. Trump, when he used to be asked about the Epstein files, he would say, Bill Clinton said he only went on his plane 4 times. He actually went on his plane 27 times. So there's a big discrepancy there. I wonder why he... So Trump helped to make it more of like a Democrat-coded thing where Republicans thought, oh, this will expose the Democrats. Right? And then now he's flipping that on a dime where he's like, actually, now it's the opposite. They rigged it, and they're trying to take down me and Republicans, and that's why this is a Democrat hoax now.
Yeah.
And he's dragging them kicking and screaming to get to that position.
I mean, just think about this, guys. Like, Trump was a fixture at Epstein Manhattan parties. They were damn near next-door neighbors down in Palm Beach. Virginia Giuffre worked at Mar-a-Lago.
That's where she met Epstein.
Maxwell met her and recruited her and then groomed her.
That's right.
We just found this piece out. Trump, when he was 50 years old, dated a 20-year-old who he'd been introduced to by Ghislaine Maxwell, who was an Epstein trafficking underage victim.
Yep.
And they said this isn't the first time that Ghislaine has introduced him to women. Like, we know the character of this man. I mean, I lost track of how many times he's been accused of sex crimes.
25
times, apparently, accused of sex crimes. He owned these pageants and bragged about going in the dressing rooms to see these young girls.
They change.
And he also owned a modeling agency. Modeling agencies are notorious hotbeds of exploitation of young girls. And then he acts like this, and you think we're not going to put the pieces together? Like, the Occam's razor most obvious thing is you are in them, and you are very worried about what's going to come out. He said, Trump himself said, sure, Epstein said, okay, we were besties for a decade. Trump himself said, I knew him for 15 years. He likes beautiful women maybe as much as I do, many of them on the younger side.
That's right.
You think he didn't know what was going on? You think he wasn't involved in what was going on? Like, come on. Were we born yesterday?
Hey, guys, we had the pleasure of talking to the podcast that dethroned Joe Rogan as #1 in the country. I'm, of course, talking about Midas Touch. We spoke to Ben, who's the leader over there at the Midas Touch Network. We had a really awesome conversation. If you want to see the whole thing, sign up below on Substack. You're not going to want to miss it.